Hello again and welcome to another video. Today we are flipping through this chunky journal slash sketchbook. It's actually very random. Since it got so chunky, I just put it in an organizer bag in case some of the stuff fell off. I literally just pasted everything here, especially on the very end. I even have this loose airplane ticket from Coron, which I just found earlier on my wallet. So I'm gonna paste this later on. This is kinda my reset and my declutter, or just to organize the junk that I collected over the years, so they are all in one place. And just before the year end, I want to close this chapter so I can literally start and begin 2026 and get more into journaling seriously. This is a notebook from Alice Spencer. On the cover, I just painted it with watercolor while I just left it blank on the back. I personally love this cover since it's full of art materials and I like the effect of the watercolor that I added. Now, on the first page is just a cutout from a journal book. I love the words in here. Doing what you like is freedom and liking what you do is happiness. Hello, write your own story, and I just added my name there. In the first pages, I really put some time to curate the spread, but I kind of forgot about this, especially when I moved to the city. Moving on to the next page, these are just some swatches of my polychromos pencils. These are from Faber-Castell. These are water-based, so I tried to swatch them by adding some water. However, this particular paper is very thin to hold some water. It does not blend very well with water. In here, on the next, I have more swatches of the pencils that I used at the time. I have different kind of pencils, B, H, and HB, so I just swatched them here. I was also very into pencils back then, and it's kind of where I started with arts. I used to do portraits using graphite pencils. On the right is a watercolor painting of some trees with the reference photo from Mount Ugo. When I hiked back then, I like the splashes of paint here, I like the color, and I like the whole page here. Don't ever lose sight of your dreams, and more importantly, reach for the stars. I was into dreams at this moment, I guess. Here is a typography, and on the right side is a visual representation of the phrase, on reaching for the moon, which represents a dream. Here is another one from Mount Ugo. This is me. It's a self-portrait. That's my Deuter bag from hiking a few years back, from when I used to join hikes. And on the right side is another watercolor swatch, this time with Pebeo watercolor. I still have these until now, and that's what I'm using currently. I did a sort of color wheel in here. Now we are switching to a journal spread. This is from my trip to Thailand back in 2019. Here are just some plane tickets, some flyers, or posters that I kept during our trip or our tour at the time. The next spread is a continuation of our Thailand trip. There are from the tours, from the hotel that we stayed in, and I even draw this one from the place that we visited. I even wrote here, when you begin to think that there is no really failure in life but rather more stepping stones to success, you begin to see things in a different way. Wow, that's nice. On the next page is another continuation of our Thailand trip. So here's our itinerary from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, up to day 5, and our return ticket. Next is another painting from Bangkok, Thailand. This is Bang Pa In Palace in Thailand, one of the places that we visited during our tour. I think this is my first attempt at documenting my first travel, so it's nice to have something drawn or painted just to remember moments by, which right now is something that I really like to do. While on the right side are some trees. I don't think these are finished. Maybe I just left them there undone. Next is another trip to Thailand in 2019 when I attended a convention. This was on September, and the ticket has already been faded. Here is another page of another watercolor swatch. This is from the brand Brown, and I did some color wheel in here as well. I've written something here. It's not good when directly mixed on paper. Must be mixed first on a mixing palette before putting on paper. I love the splatters of paints on this page. Moving on, here are some stuff that I kept from my first job in SGV and some Christmas gift cards. And on the next one are also some messages from my batchmates or from my colleagues when I resigned at my first job. And here on this spread, we have Fibonacci sequence. I don't know why I got so interested with Fibonacci at this point. I don't even remember what it is. So here's some Leonardo Picasso, Robert, some formulas, some numbers I don't even remember. And we have mathematics is not just solving for x, but it is also figuring out y. And then I've drawn here some Fibonacci and flowers. Honestly, I don't remember Fibonacci sequence, and I don't remember why I was so interested with this. Maybe it's related to arts and numbers, that's why. But let's move on. On this next page, we have some random items. I put here some house yearly I got from somewhere, a drawing of my thumb, something from Art Fair, Philippines, Toby's Estate napkin, and what's this? A radish. And on the right is the delivery receipt from the Insta Travel that was given to me from my friend Zeki. This is the book actually, and I was really a fan of Aguilar during the travel in her shoes era, and it's where I got to Instagram. I got to love Instagram, traveling and taking photos. And also on the next page, I drew the front cover of the book Insta Travel by Aggie, and it's not that bad, it's not that good either, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really have to be exact. It's just something special that I have to draw this on my sketchpad. On the next page are just some random items, some paper from the junk journal book that I have, some flyers from Starbucks, and let me just put a book under this journal so you can see it better. Wait, let me fix it. For this flyer, I think I just kept it because it's brown. Now let's move on the next page. This is a brick wall painting, and it has some words. I let down my walls for you, but you only made me remember why I built them so high. I don't know what drama is this, but let's move on to the next page. These are my hands. I traced them down, added some blue and red watercolor, traced an outline, and painted yellow fingernails, and also added some Morse code that says, "Hold my hand." The colors on this one are inspired by the flag, I guess. Red, blues, and yellows, and I don't know what got me into Morse code at the time. On the next one are some graphite techniques. We have here some burnishing, stippling, cross-hatching, and also others, and some sample on cylinders and spheres. While on the right side is a graphite drawing of a dog. In here, I scribbled some pencils all over the pages and erased on the part where I will draw the dog. I think this is called negative painting or drawing. On the next page are some eye studies using graphite pencils. So on the right, these are my eyes. We have some closed and open eyes. I took the reference photos myself with my own eyes. And on the right side, I think these are reference photos from the internet, so I just drew them out. I really love how the spread or the eye studies look like in the spread. I haven't done eye studies or any studies at all in graphite for quite some time, so I should do more of this soon. On the next page is more eye studies. So this is also my eyes. I did this in graphite pencil. The quality of this sketchbook is really good for graphite sketching. It's good for blending colored pencils and graphite. While on the right side of this page is a watercolor painting of an umbrella tree. So this is my day one during the quarantine. This was in front of my hotel room. One happy day is almost a miracle. The pen I used in this page is not water resistant, so it kinda splashed all over when I tried to add some water to it. The next page is a journal page which I just inserted recently. I just added here some paper, some from the scrapbook journal, and this drawing given to me in college. On the next spread is a drawing and a painting of a similar subject. I think the reference is from Pinterest. So on the left is a graphite drawing, while on the right is a watercolor painting of the same house subject, and also added some typography at the top which says, "There is no place like home." On the next page is made out of acrylic. This is something that I tried based on what I saw online, so this is how it looked like. On the next is just an unfinished figure drawing. Here is another swatch of colored pencils that are skin tone color pencils. And on the right is a study of that color pencil using my eye as reference. I like the colored pencils, how they turned out here. And on the next one is another eye study using the same colored pencils. These are not my eyes. Back then, I really did a lot of eye studies. And on the next one is a watercolor painting of some lips. I like the highlights on this one. Moving on to the next page is another watercolor painting. So this is Taylor Swift, if you can recognize. This is not my best work, but these are just some watercolor studies of some portraits. And that was the last page that I did on this sketchbook. All of the remaining pages were added just recently. I just pasted all of the stuff and items, some letters that I kept over the years, and pasted them here at this sketchbook. On the next page are more letters. I just pasted them as is and secured them with washi tape and just added some pages from my journal. On the next page is a letter to the future CPA. This was given to us during the review before board exam. I don't know who gave this, I think from the school. I pasted at the back some picture from our graduation back in 2018. While on the right side is a draft of a contract that we did together with my classmates or group of friends back in college. The name of our group is Carwi. It's our initials. I don't know why we have this contract. I think we have some law subject back then. That's why we drafted this. This is a food contract, and one of the IIR here says this should be the daily meal for every week. We have for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday until Friday. 35 pesos. Examination days are allowed to have heavy meals. That's enough on this food contract. Let's move on to the next page, which are just a collection of ID pictures from my college classmates. And on the next one are just some random IDs back in high school. Some are during review and the oath taking, and some IDs from the events that I attended back in high school. On the next pages are more IDs on some events. It's a combination of high school and college events. Moving on to the next one, this is a page dedicated to when I used to do dog portrait commissions, and on the top are LBC delivery receipts. Here's the name of my page before we make art, some care instructions that they made back then. The name of my page is Wenzel Art, and here's a certificate of authenticity on one painting that I sold when I joined ASP. On the next one is a page dedicated to the concert I attended for Louis Tomlinson back in 2022. Here are some fun projects, some pictures I bought on Shopee. These are from the cutout of the words or the coupon we are supposed to raise during the concert. And on the next one are more pictures of Louis Tomlinson and some 1D members. So this is my 1D era during the pandemic. On the next page, here is a gift envelope from someone I don't remember. In here is something from Dr. Wine in Makati. This was during New Year's Eve. On to the next page is a vintage type paper bag from a gift. So I just also cut out the logo and pasted it here. Here on the next page is a collection of random movie tickets. We have here Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, John Wick, Mission Impossible, and on the next page we also have some more movie tickets, Fast X and Inside Out. Here on the right we have an envelope. It's a birthday card that was given to me during my birthday. It's from Papa Melroti. Actually, I love receiving birthday cards or cards or letters. Also on the next pages, we have some more cards. Also as a kid, I like to create cards for my parents, for my brother. I like giving them, and also I like receiving one. This last one is from my boyfriend. This is also from the same birthday. Moving on the next page, it's also a letter from one of my friends. She gave this before she left. And on the right are just some convention items. So these are from 3 or 4 different events that I attended to. So I just kept them there using this repurpose SM gift card. On the next pages are just some plane tickets from our trip to Thailand. These are on the same flight, and the next one is another flight or trip to Bangkok, Thailand. Here on the next one, we have some tickets that we had when we went to Enchanted Kingdom. So that was very spontaneous trip, me and my boyfriend. On the right are some birthday cake cards from Carrot Cake Manila. So every year I receive a carrot cake. So these are different years. I really like carrot cakes. On the next one, we have some more cards. So these are from Mary Grace. This was during my birthday. And also we have here the cards from the flower that my boyfriend gave me. This Lamy from my recent birthday, a gift from my boyfriend. On the next one, we have here just some Christmas cards from the gifts that I received this Christmas. I just pasted them there. On the next one, some more Christmas cards. While on the next, more Christmas cards. And then I just added a dried flower from there that was from a different year. Moving on, so these are just some flowers that I pressed before. I tried to put this here on the corner, but I failed. It doesn't look good, so I tried to save it by adding some paper to it here in front and at the back, but it doesn't save it. Now on the next one, I just put the flower in there, added some washi tapes. I did the same on the next page. It's a bit better, but then I got lazy, so I just pasted where I put the dried flower in, just added some washi tape. I did the same on the next flowers. This is my pressed flower era. So I have here some leaves, some random flowers I got from somewhere, maybe along the road. Here is an excess pressed roses from the flower that my boyfriend gave me a few years back. Here are some pressed flowers from a far tree. On the next one are some pressed hydrangeas. So these are white hydrangeas. On the next is another letter. I think this is from the same birthday where I received those letters from my friends. So this is on a different size, so I kept it at the end. I've been seeing a lot of snail mail clubs around Instagram and TikTok, and I just subscribed to one for this coming January. And also by next year, I am planning to start also a snail mail club, so my art can reach more people and I can be connected to more artists or collectors or to some others who also like journaling. On this next page, we have a postcard from Gallery by Shelle when we had dinner. This is the menu that we got. It's a 10-course meal. We had dinner there and the food was so good. Here is just a name tag that I got from a seminar. On here, I just pasted a calendar, which is the date that I ended this sketchbook / journal. So that's December 27. And then I pasted some stickers. And this one is a ticket from our trip to Coron. So I will just paste it there right after this. And that's it. I chose not to fill the remaining pages. So that's the end of this journal flip through. Thank you so much for watching, and on 2026, let's get more into journaling. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, share some thoughts and some tips for journaling for 2026. That's it. Have a happy new year and see you on the next one.